Hey, are you tired of the government chipping away at your self-defense rights? Well, you can definitely do something about it and become a member of San Diego County Gun Owners today. We make activism easy, and it's fun, too. So join today. Go to stcgo.org/join and sign up to be a member today. Together, we will win $10 a month, and there's different levels that you can chime into as well, where you can get benefits as you go up the ladder. But you can get in for as little as $10, and we highly, highly appreciate it. All right, I guess we've got some special guests. By the way, Michael is not here today. He's going to be gone for, I don't know, a few weeks. He's out with his family, enjoying the countryside. So we're going to have different celebrity guests in. And today we've got Lee. How do you say your last name? Moiseev.
Yeah.
From Barely Training. And we have an absolutely lovely lady in the house, which we don't do that too often. And you are?
Judy Fitzgerald.
And who are you with?
I am actually running for Escondido City Council.
All right. Escondido City Council. Thank you for putting on the gun show.
Yes, absolutely. We're excited.
Yeah, should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So Lee is our guest host today. So Lee, maybe for people that aren't familiar, because you've been on the show before.
I have, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Barely Training.
Barely Training is the company that I decided to start after closing down Gunfighter Tactical. That's where I was for 10 years in the industry, down here in San Diego, building guns, selling guns, still in guns.
So what are you doing now?
Training people, training tactics, shooting.
Not building guns anymore?
Just personal ones.
Except for your own personal.
Yeah, just my own ones. Yeah, I'm in the middle of building one right now, as always.
Funny thing, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, just training, teaching people to shoot, teaching people to shoot faster, better, more accurate, and in weird situations.
That is fantastic. By the way, get your gun prom tickets at gunprom.com and join Casino Night. That's right. Can you believe it? We're going to have a casino night. We're going to have fun at the tables, support a great cause, and that is your self-defense rights, and enjoy a fun night with the best people in Southern California. Also, we have a big announcement. Escondido Mayor Dane White, who you probably know, will be a symposium speaker. Then the executive director of Second Amendment Foundation, Adam Kraut, will be the final speaker on Sunday at the Gun Owners Symposium. So join us for open range day as well. That's a private shooting area also in Escondido. I think we're all going to pack up and move to Escondido.
Looking that way.
I know. That's May 31st, the day before the San Diego Gun Show. You can win prizes. There's a chess rig from Roan Industries. Seal One's got some goodies for you. Core Essentials, Bole safety glasses, and a whole lot more. And if you don't have guns or ammo, you can still go. There will be guns to try, and Fallbrook Gun will have ammo and eye and ear protection that you can purchase. The tickets at gunownersradio.com. Click on the button for the gun show. And you can also take in-person classes at the gun show and learn how to stop the bleed, get your CPR certification, and improve your handgun skills. Grand prize giveaway, we got that too, a Beretta APX A1 9mm handgun. Enter by going to range day, taking a class, and going to a symposium, talk. And there's lots of prizes, giveaways from Seal One, Condor, Active Shooter, Defense School, gun prom tickets, and more. So, man, we've got a ton going on. So
And all those are going to be fun.
Yeah, I think so too. And I can't thank Escondido enough for seeing the value in allowing, Second Amendment is really what it amounts to.
Absolutely. And I had a personal experience on the Planning Commission regarding some of the liberal pushback on that.
You got pushback?
My very first day, Planning Commission, they came in and essentially we were looking over, we were discussing, what permits we were going to end, temporary permits, CUPs and such. And somebody from staff, somebody higher up, presented that the police department was in agreement that we should not continue the gun shop permits. So as soon as this next one, when it would end, it would not be renewed. Yeah. So with the law enforcement background, Second Amendment, law enforcement and Second Amendment go hand in hand. It kind of took me back. So I was asking more questions, and unfortunately for him, I was also a former interrogator, and so the questions were just kind of not accurate. So I asked for it to be continued.
So you had a little fun.
Well, I asked him, let's go ahead and continue this, and let's see what the statistics are. And of course, I reached out to the chief of police and said, "Hey, this is what they're saying, that the police support it." And the answer was absolutely not. We are pro Second Amendment.
Wow.
And so coming back to the next meeting and kind of digging in a little bit more to see what else he would say before I were to say, no, that didn't come from our police department. It was just interesting just to see just the agenda that they have in providing misinformation and the public believing it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's just to limit, gun shops and the sales of guns in our city.
So they just thought they were talking to a girl that didn't know anything about anything.
And it was apparently.
I hate to say it, but that's kind of how it. I mean,
actually, I'm glad they thought that they were just talking to a girl that didn't know anything, because then,
guard.
I bet they were shocked when they were done.
But it was interesting. The statistics that he said was that the police department shared that wherever there are gun shops, there are higher crime incidents with guns. And so my response was, well, the statistics that I know of is where there are gun shops with law-abiding citizens that purchase these firearms, crime rate is lower.
Right.
And criminals do not take the legal route to obtain a firearm. It's either stolen or it's brought across the border. So it was just interesting, let's disarm law-abiding citizens. And
did I even get your name?
yes, in the beginning. Judy Fitzgerald.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I'm sitting there going, well, I've got so engrossed into what you were saying. I go, well, wait, I got to make sure that everybody out there knows who you are. So how is it now? I mean, now that you've gotten the gun show is going to be in Escondido, is there still more pushback?
Actually, that person is no longer with the city.
Funny thing.
That's nice.
That's what you do. Yeah. You vote them out. Or
I didn't have anything to do with that.
No.
But it was one of those things to where I think bringing to light some of the hidden agendas to where they're trying to suppress or keep us from practicing our Second Amendment rights. It's something that they need to be called out to. And again, a lot of people believe the misinformation because they take it at face value and they really don't look into it further.
Right.
Yeah.
And we talk about this all the time, is we need to get people in office at the lower local levels.
Absolutely.
That believe like you believe, or they believe like Lee believes.
Well, you set the foundation, right?
Right.
If you set it local, it only goes uphill from there.
Right.
If I set someone in Congress in, who knows where, Sacramento, they're not thinking about me here.
No.
Not at all.
No. But if you start them here,
exactly,
and then when
raise
Judy makes it to governor,
yeah,
and then we've got the right person run right.
Well, it does start at small local government.
And you may not think you could be the governor, but I have a feeling you could be the governor.
Oh, wait. Well, thank you.
Serious. So give us a little bit of your background. You kind of gave us a little side note that you were in law enforcement. Oh, we got to do it in the next break. All right, somebody write it down because I always forget. All right, if you ever have legal matters that involve firearms, you need California's best firearms lawyer, and that means John Dillon. John Dillon specializes in California gun law, so put his number on your phone right now, 760-642-7150. That's John Dillon's California firearms lawyer, 760-642-7150. Put his number on your phone right now. All right, Lee says I got to get organized, so I got to start following.
Buy the book.
I got to start following the script, so we'll talk to Judy later. Rich has gone out to get her dinner. Steak, eggs, or steak and potatoes. All right, so I should ask Lee a question. Why is the industry dog eat dog and not supportive as a whole?
Ooh, Why is it that
Oh,
way?
you didn't read the script? You're supposed
No,
to.
I know what it is. I know the answer. Look, I submitted the question.
Oh, that's even better.
But why is it that way? Why is it?
I know.
Here's a great example. My friend posted a video to Instagram of him doing a shooting drill, right? Didn't even realize that the girl in the video next to him ND'd into the ground. Didn't even realize that because he was focused on himself. The comments on that video were so explosive about how bad of a shooter she was, how terrible she was, that they just roasted her alive on my friend's Instagram. Like, that, unfortunately, is the industry we live in.
Yeah.
It's dog eat dog, and I just don't get it. Like, why can't people say, oh, man, that's crazy that happened. I'm glad she's in a class learning what to do.
Well, do you remember? Well, you may not remember, but maybe Judy would. But there was a time when a girl would go into a gun store,
Yeah.
and they'd look at her like, "What are you doing in here?"
Oh, that's not the one for you.
Yeah. Oh, don't
Yeah.
you love that?
Yeah, and I
That's too big for you. You need something tiny, that'll
Yeah.
fit your hand. And it's been that way for an awful long time.
Yeah, and it sucks because the motto of San Diego Gunners is "Together we will win," right?
Right.
And so many people look at it as "I will win," not "Together we will win."
Right.
And it just drives me nuts, to be honest with you. Like, even people in other states go, "Well, luckily we don't have that problem here." Well, guess what? Here's going to be everywhere pretty soon.
All right.
If you don't start fighting for where you are,
That's right.
it's
All
nuts.
right. I got to go to script. What's been your experiences since you wrote the question?
Oh, geez. Experience in life with the
Yeah,
dog
life.
eat dog,
Yeah.
particularly. Here's one for me specifically. I heard from a friend who heard it that my business cards, I put them in a shop. They were taken out, thrown on the bottom shelf, and another company's business cards put in that card holder.
Really?
Yeah. That to me is just the dog eating dog
Wow.
industry. And it just blows me away.
Yeah.
And I said, cool. If that's how they want to do that, that's cool with me. It was another training company. And I was like, okay, cool. That's you.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it's just, if we all look at it as cooperation, if we all look at it as like, hey, I don't teach CCW. Bill DC does. Poway Weapons and Gear does. Cool. Go to them.
Right.
Have fun. Great. Do great. When you want to do this class, come to me.
See, unlike you, I have no problem with competition.
Yeah, me either.
My job is to be better than you.
Yeah. 100%.
But I'm not going to degrade you, nor am I
Right.
going to talk bad about you.
Yep.
Same thing, you can't do that because if somebody comes, or for example, if somebody started a gun show right after mine,
Yeah.
go for it. I'll
Yeah.
promote it.
Yeah.
And if you can do a better gun show than me, rock on.
Yeah.
'cause-
But my job is to do my job the best I possibly can.
exactly,
And that's it.
I can't do any better
That's
than
it.
that. And you either like it or you don't.
Yeah.
But it's not. I'm not going to take your business cards and throw them in the trash.
Yeah.
I work for KUSI TV, and there will be times we'll be out doing something, and there will be another TV station there, and they're all like, "Oh, well, there's KUSI."
Yeah.
I'll walk right over. Hey guys, how you doing? My
Yeah.
name's Dave.
How you doing?
How's biz? Boy, you got nice equipment, man. Better than ours.
Yeah.
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 And they all look at me like, "What's he doing? Why is he coming over here?"
Yeah. It's crazy. And you see that so much in the gun industry
Yeah.
as opposed to other industries. And I think it is because, well, like we talked about earlier, it's all guys trying to be macho. You don't have enough friendly brotherhood camaraderie in the industry where it's like, I got to win. I got to get mine.
Right.
Not like, hey, man, you do you, I do me.
Yeah.
You do yours the
Or
best
maybe
way.
you could help me, and I'll help
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So-
you don't, I don't offer that. Cool. This guy does.
Yeah.
Go see him.
So, Judy, have you ever gone into a gun store and bought a gun?
Actually, with this guy, yes, my husband and I.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did
So-
how much attention did they spend to you? Because the gun was going to be for you or for him?
It would be for me, but essentially, my husband is a trainer in firearms, so he teaches firearms.
Well, why is he
so
sitting way over here?
He's my bodyguard. So
Well, he should be sitting right there talking.
he should
to
be,
us.
yes.
I know.
Yeah, so I trust what he thinks would be best, and then also I do like, to feel it, and I tend to go for the bigger ones.
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, he
yeah.
didn't come up to you and say, "No, you don't want that gun. You want this gun."
No, I've never had that experience.
But that's where you
Yeah.
run into it.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times at your old store where a guy brought his girlfriend or his wife in,
I would.
All right, here's what she wants.
I would specifically say, "Sir, I apologize, but I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to her."
That's right.
Good.
And they would be like, "Whoa!"
Oh yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, she's buying the gun, right?
That's right.
It's her gun." When back in the day, when I would have women come in, I'd be like, "Okay, here, don't pick this gun because your boyfriend told you to." I put every gun on the counter. I said, "Pick them all up, put them in your hand, feel them,
touch
Which
'em.
one's the most comfortable? Which one's the best?"
And just to show you how up, straight, and honest I am, I bought my wife a Smith & Wesson 9mm that she refuses to shoot or hold because it's too big and she can't rack it.
Yep.
You think I would listen to my own advice, wouldn't you? I didn't even take her with me.
Yep. It happens. Trust me. When I ran the gun store for 10 years, it would happen all the time.
I know. All right, so one of the other questions you threw out there, how does it affect the industry's negativity? Are you talking about the gun industry?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if I'm out to get mine, we can't win this war. We can't win this against the national laws and the stuff that's coming down the pipeline, Sacramento. If I'm out to get mine, why do I care about us? Right? Together we will win.
So where do you think that attitude comes from?
That's a great question.
Yeah, if we could find that out.
If I could find that out, I could be like, hey, stop doing this,
Because it's like, well, my wife says the other half is from Mars. Because if it doesn't make it's got to make logical sense, and if it doesn't make logical sense, then where are you getting this idea?
Yeah, it's that mentality of I got to get mine. It's not,
I
hey,
guess.
we can do this together. When we ran the gun shop for so many years, we'd be like, oh, I don't have that. Let me call a couple stores and ask them if they have it.
Yeah.
They'd be like, what? You
Yeah.
do that? Yeah, why not? I want you to get a gun.
You want a gun or don't
Yeah,
you want a gun?
I want you to get a gun.
Yeah.
If I don't sell it to you,
And-
I'll find someone who will.
And if I have to send you down there to buy it, because you have to go down there to buy it,
Yeah.
to get the paperwork and what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I you and I are completely on the same page. But I think that meant that dog eat dog, that cutthroat, has been around since business has been around.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watch much TV, but there's a show on tonight. It's called the history that made food, or history food, something back there. And it was talking about people that were making cereal
Oh, yeah.
back in the day.
Straight war.
Cutthroat. Oh
Yeah.
my God! Then there was a one with Colonel Sanders, the guy that was making Kentucky Fried Chicken, and somebody was defacing his billboard.
Oh.
Shot him with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Killed him.
Yeah.
We're talking chicken,
Yeah.
cereal.
Yeah.
We're not talking life and death. I mean,
Yeah.
But-
It's crazy.
so I think it started back in those days because they didn't have that thought in their head. Hey, rock on. I hope you do a really good job. Let me help you. You help me, and we'll grow
Yeah.
together.
And guess what? If I do my job and I do a good job, people will continue to come to me.
That's right.
Imagine that.
And if I don't do a good job, and if I say, oh, you don't want to buy a gun from him because his guns shoot people without
Yeah.
them even holding it.
Yeah.
know.
I'm sorry. Say what now?
Well, I will have to tell you another cute little story because I'm big on stories. I used to work for an automotive equipment company, and they had alignment gear without strings. Because normally if we align your car back in the day, you had to have a string go from the front wheels to the back wheels and make sure that the wheels were adjusted so the strings touched and your car would go straight down the road. Well, this company came up with laser beams.
Ooh.
Okay, no strings. So the competition would say, be careful, don't go over to that booth with the laser beams because 2 technicians just became sterilized by walking by the machine. One of the
Wow.
laser beams got him, and
Wow.
now he'll never have kids. And they
Wow.
actually were saying that at a
Jeez.
huge convention center full of equipment, car stuff. But I mean, it just falls right back into what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Just hammer him.
And guess what? They have that technology today too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
everybody else.
It's crazy. You just do your thing, do it the best of your ability, and people will come back.
Yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
So do you miss the store?
I do sometimes. I miss the everyday camaraderie of
Mm-hmm.
a lot of guys, and I miss dealing with the public on a daily basis and getting guns into their hands.
Right.
That was a huge part of what I did, was getting the right gun to the
Mm-hmm.
right person and working on their guns. Now I'm doing the same mentality where I'm teaching people to use those guns that I got them, but it's just a whole different mentality. They show up with a gun. I had a guy who showed up in my class last weekend, and he's like, "This is the first time I ever shot this rifle." And I was like, "Awesome, let's do this." That gets me on a high for the day to teach him.
And he has no bad habits.
Yep, exactly.
That's the key if you have
Yep.
no bad habits.
Yep. I actually taught a women's class a couple weeks ago, and it was fantastic. Guess what? They all did everything correctly.
I know.
Well,
Well,
they didn't try to look cool.
Nope.
They just said, I said, do it this way. And they said, okay.
yeah, because why would I'm here.
Yeah.
I paid you money to
Yeah.
teach me. Well, why would I argue with you?
Teach me the right way.
Yeah.
You know? And it's awesome when people don't have the bad habits. They don't start off, doing it wrong.
Right.
They start off clean. And I always tell people, hey, look, if I'm going to teach you something, do it. Today's your first time of 10,000. Right? Because 10,000 makes you good at something. 10,000 makes you professional. So if you can start with the number one being correct, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's start that way.
And let's do it right. No bad habits.
So every 10,000 gets right.
Yeah, because when Alisha, she tells stories, boy. She had one lady in her class. I mean, she was waving her gun around, and I mean, it was scary.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
it happens. People,
Well, no, yeah.
people
You
don't.
find more and more. You find your classes are getting bigger and bigger because of just what's going on in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I find people who, like I said, the guy last weekend with the first time he ever had a rifle, he's like, I needed to get one of these because of I watched the news. I was like, hey, I don't blame you, buddy. Look at the news.
But then you got to get protection. You got to get insurance because
Yep.
because unfortunately, when you make the first shot, you're going to go to jail.
Yep.
The perp probably isn't.
Yep.
Even if you missed him. I mean,
Well, and speaking of misses, I tell everyone every time you miss, there's a lawyer attached to the bullet.
that's right.
So make sure that miss, you better have a lawyer of your own.
That's right. And that's why we have a great advertiser as well.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to learn to fly? You want to get a pilot's license? Well, San Diego is one of the best places to get your license because pilots can fly almost every day. And San Diego Flight Training International is the best school to get your license. Give them a call at 858-569-1822. Learn to fly at SDFTI. Call them, 858-569-1822. All right, we got our buddy Lee in the house, and he is the celebrity co-host. And we are talking about, I guess, how this industry has become so dog-eat-dog. And I think you're absolutely correct. If we would all work collectively together for the same cause,
Yeah.
just think how much farther we'd get.
Yeah. As a team, we can.
And I think
do
the
this.
left would have a hard time fighting us if we all were on the same page.
Oh, 100%. Instead of, talking smack on Instagram,
Yeah.
how about you lift that person up and say, hey, man, good job. Maybe next time do this. Or, hey, come out with me. I'll show you how to do
I'll
it.
train you.
Look at the positivity in things and look at the positive outlook on life instead of like, oh, if he's getting people, then I'm not. Or if he's doing good, I'm not. Who cares?
I wonder if those are real people. I'm wondering if somebody isn't just being negative online because they can.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting the society we live in where standing or sitting behind a phone gives you so much courage.
Right. Oh.
You would never say that stuff to my face. And so where's the politeness in society? Yeah. Oh, it got lost in the cell phone. 100% behind the keyboard.
One of the things I do, and I've been doing it ever since COVID, I try to support local restaurants. Mm-hmm. And if I go to a nice restaurant, I take a really nice picture before I eat it, and I post it.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, somebody will come up and say, well, I like this place way better than that place. Did I ask you to even make a comment on this restaurant?
Yeah.
I'm just showing you, look what they offered. Doesn't that look good? You ought to give it a try.
Yeah. I enjoy this.
But
why do you have to say that it's bad? You know?
I know.
So, maybe here's a better statement. Oh, if you like that, you might like this too.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Instead of,
yeah, this is better.
Yeah.
So I think it's the human nature that falls into it. It's so negative these days, and our industry has a lot of negativity already attached to it. Yeah. So when we're breaking down our own, it just makes the industry look even worse.
Well, and it's starting. To me, it almost. And by the way, you can chip in and join in this conversation without any problem. So if you feel, usually there she's finally made it. The curtain call. But what you can do, usually when you come in, you just stick your finger up. Judy, that's Alisha. Alisha, that's Judy. That's Lee.
Hi.
I'm Dave. Glad to see you.
I thought I was Dave.
No, I'm Dave. You're Lee.
Wait, hold on. Let me check the script.
Hey, you could be Michael.
Yeah. Michael Schwartz for a day.
That's right. Boy, there's a scary thought.
Holy cow.
So basically what we're doing is, I already went off script.
What's new?
I know, that's what I tried to tell them, but they didn't listen to me. But, you know, it's an uphill battle with no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And now, though, the only thing I can say from a positive standpoint, with as many people that are buying guns, and not that that's the common denominator, but when you buy guns and you get involved in training and you get involved with folks like yourself,
Yeah.
and you're talking about guns, ownership, training,
Yeah.
then all of a sudden that gun owner who probably hated guns in the first place, or all their friends told them you should never own a gun, all of a sudden they go, wait a minute, maybe this is not bad. This isn't a bad idea.
Right.
And the other thing that you train, I haven't been to your class, but the gun's the last resort.
Oh, yeah, 100%. There's a lot of options before
A
that.
lot of options
Yeah.
before you
Yeah.
shoot somebody.
And just to go along with that, the motto of my company is have fun, train hard.
Oh, I like that.
Because if you're not doing the first, the second's irrelevant.
Right.
Right?
Right.
We're in this to have fun. We're in this to do this together, because there's so many people, again, have this negative stereotype on the outside of our industry of like, oh, they're just a bunch of military jerks and yell at you and scream at you, make you do push-ups. Not at all. I'm cracking jokes in my class more than I'm subscribing shooting drills.
Yeah,
you know,
you have to.
You have to. You have to have fun. And so many studies have shown that people are just more relaxed when they're having fun, when they're having an open attitude. They can learn a lot faster, and they're safer.
And this topic that you're dealing with is very intimidating.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
You know, it's
100%.
And especially you were saying that you're having more women going, and yeah, it could be a very intimidating thing for women to step
Absolutely.
into. So they definitely need, you know,
that fun aspect
Yeah.
is monumental.
well, that's why we have a program called Not Me SD
Yep.
for
yes,
women only.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I carry Desi's cards all the time. In fact, I was at a restaurant, you know, and I live in Alpine, so I was sorry. I haven't got a passport to go to Escondido yet. But I live in Alpine, and I was talking to a lady at at the table next to me, and one of the girls that was an ambassador for Desi's program comes over. I'll take over. I'm an
I got
ambassador.
this. Yeah.
In other words, he's a guy. You want to
Yeah.
hear it from me, a girl.
Yeah.
But that's a program that is taken off like wildfire. But yeah, like you said, I try to get women, I say, get 2 or 3 of your friends together,
Yeah.
you know, because it's, I think even for a guy, it's hard to go by yourself. To
It
a
is.
certain degree.
It is. People still
Haven't
get
you found
intimidated.
that?
100%. If you can get a friend to sign up with you, it's a lot easier.
Right.
In a lot of my classes, I'll have a couple, 2, 3 dudes sign up together and then show up. You just don't feel intimidated. And then my job is to even take that away further. You know, my job is to have fun.
Right.
And like I've done classes for Desi and a couple of her friends.
Right.
And it's all women, and they just have a blast, you know, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to do this again, because they're having fun. They're not getting yelled at, you know, in the scorching sun and just making a miserable day.
Well, Alisha does. She's a trainer as well. I'm sure you already knew that.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because we were talking about how he put his business cards in a business, and somebody else came in. I think it was you. Anyway, took his business cards, threw them in the trash, and the other guy put his business cards up.
Oh, absolutely.
And we were wondering, why can't all these trainers get along and all these gun stores get along? Because if we worked, I'm bringing you up to speed, because if we worked as a unit, look how much farther we could go. Look how much we could accomplish if we all push the rock up at the same time.
You know what they say is a rising tide lifts all ships, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? I even have people that like to come to me on a regular basis. I have regular people, and while I love them and I appreciate that, I also want to encourage them. Get out and work with other people too. I get out and I work with other trainers myself
Yeah,
too.
you do.
There's always something new that you can pick up from somebody. You can be the most experienced shooter. You can get out there on a weekly basis, right? Work with an amazing trainer, but you pick up with somebody else, they might pick up something that your other instructor didn't see, or maybe you hear something told in a different way that resonates with you, that I get it now. I heard something like that before, but I didn't quite get it, and I get it now.
Right.
And I love to encourage people. Yes, I want you to come back. I'd love to see you, but I also want to see you visiting other people too.
Well, it's like
get better
Lee,
in all ways.
Like Lee was saying, he trains one way, and then maybe somebody wants to get some training that he doesn't do.
Right.
And let's say you're the one that does it. Well, then he'll just send them to you.
Right.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
I've sent multiple emails saying, I apologize, I don't do that. Here's a list of people that do. Right. 100%.
And when you give that list, everybody knows that that's your top list.
Yeah.
You're not sending
These are the
them
guys
to-
I trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not sending them to somebody that's not going to give you what you're looking for.
Right. Right.
And that's the thing with that. I like what you're saying, both of you, because really it's one of those things that people have different learning styles, and your goal is to have them be efficient,
Yeah.
right? And so that's the ultimate goal. So I like the working together and even
Absolutely.
having them go with someone else.
In every training I've ever done my entire life, my philosophy is if I've learned one thing, it was a success.
That's it.
One thing all day. I could have shot 100 drills and he taught me how to load my mag a little bit better. Cool. I learned one thing. I'm good.
Learned something that I do.
Right. And that's how you build a wide repertoire of good drills and good skills.
Right. So, but I still think that the battle's far from over. I mean, because we've got
100%.
so much work that we need to do, and I'm very happy that Judy's with us today, because she's from Escondido, and she was instrumental in helping put the gun show
Right.
up in Escondido.
It's amazing. Yeah.
And I've always thought that that's the basis of what it takes. We do car shows all over the place. You do probably one of the best car shows, if you're aware of it.
A Friday night on
Cruising
the ground.
Grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably do one of the best car shows in the county. And a lot of people have come to your show to learn how you guys do it. And I think that's the mentality, whether it's car shows, gun shows, I don't care what it
Right.
is.
And with the gun shows, what I really like about it is my hope is that people are going to come in because right now they fear what they don't understand. And so giving them that perspective, that it's not the gun that's the bad guy,
Right.
Yeah.
but equipping them, having them not be afraid of taking that step into learning more.
Well, the people that threw his business cards away are the ones that are trying to, debunk, the gun show. Oh, you can't go up there. They'll sell you a gun under the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah.
No paperwork, no background check. That is the most ridiculous thing in the world.
And I like the way SDCGO is doing it, where they have a symposium where there's different things.
Yes.
I remember the gun shows going with my dad as a kid, and it was a rough gun show.
It was hardcore.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
No fooling around.
Yeah.
We're going to talk guns.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, if you want gear at an affordable price, check out Condor Outdoor. Whether you're a military professional, a law enforcement officer, or simply an avid outdoorsman, Condor products are designed to be versatile, durable, and above all, reliable. So if you're looking for the best in tactical gear, look no further than Condor Outdoor. Use code GOR for a 15% discount. CondorOutdoor.com. Use a GOR code for a 15% discount. All right, let's hit it. Curtain call.
All right. So actually,
Wait.
what? Oh, is Brandon gonna go?
Brandon.
He's now.
The latest news stories,
The latest news stories,
insightful perspectives.
insightful perspectives.
It's time for Curtain Call.
Dang.
Don't you love that?
Wow.
This kid is so good. I had a show on brand new this morning. Hey, throw me a title. It was awesome. He's really good at what he does.
Brandon's good.
If that
All
was
right.
me, that would have been 75 takes in.
Yeah, right. No, he's a one taker. All right, so you guys have collaborated.
So a topic that was suggested, I think it's amazing. So I like the idea and the concept because it's something that I think is starting to happen, and I think as instructors we're starting to see it. But
And what is that?
I don't think the public at large kind of realizes. I think it's still it's an independent decision, and I don't think they realize the masses are all starting to lean this way. And that's the whole idea behind it. For people that can still carry, what's your preferred carry gun? And so traditionally, you normally the recommendation was go as small and as light as you can find, so that you can conceal easily. And so I'm starting to see a trend, and Lee brought it up too, and he's seeing it as well. Obviously, is that the trend is trending more towards, instead of these smaller subcompacts, we're starting to see more of more. They're still considered a carry size. Like a Glock 19 is technically a carry size, but we're starting to see on the larger side of a carry size firearm becoming more popular.
Why?
That's a good question.
That's the question I have as well.
Yeah. So I mean, I have some thoughts. If you've never shot a subcompact, which is really as small as they come, versus a more larger sized carry firearm, like say a Glock 19, for example, the smaller and lighter you go, the more spice it has, the more zip, the more recoil,
and the less chance of you hitting the target.
It's a little bit more challenging. You have a shorter barrel, so you don't get as much rifling, right? So it's not as stable when it leaves. Your sights are closer together, so your ability to have precision with accuracy is not
even if you will
as great.
pull it up and even look down the sights.
If you're even if you're using your sights correct.
Because I think a lot of times when somebody gets in a situation and they're going to pull their concealed carry, I think the larger the gun, the more apt they would be to aim it properly.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
But the littler the gun, would there be less chance of them?
I mean, statistically, most ECW occurrences happen within 21 feet. So I always tell people the fact that you think you're going to go to your sights in less than a second within 21 feet, pretty low.
Right.
Let's be honest, pretty low.
Yeah, that's what I think. And plus, your adrenaline has got to be off the chart.
So to go along with that, what she was saying, the trend of the industry as a whole, like the greater above us, the companies, the advertising, they're all saying like, hey, look how small we made this gun. Hey, look how small we made this gun. And yet in carry classes, we're seeing guys with 19s, 17s, red dots, flashlights, like
CZs.
big, huge guns concealed in the waistband. And I'm just like, wow. You clearly don't have an 8-year-old kid that wants to play tag at the park because you're not running around with all that in there. I can guarantee you that, but it's the way that trend's going. So the industry, the companies are going smaller and smaller. The individuals are going bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and I'm seeing, so with the release of new guns on the roster, like I know I'm seeing, and I imagine you are too, a huge surge in people buying the Hellcats and the 365s. I think because they're excited to be able to get them. Yeah. I think that's where that big rush is. It's not so much that they necessarily would have otherwise if had they been on the roster the whole time. I think the fact that we can get them, we want something that was forbidden, so we're going to buy it. But if it weren't for that desire because it was forbidden before, I don't know that people will be buying them to begin with.
And now look, the clothing company finally spent all this time and money designing clothing for you to carry a small weapon, and now we're going to big.
Some.
And what's funny is I still carry a very small gun. I still carry a 43X, or I just got a new one, the FN Reflex, which is still a small subcompact 9mm. I always tell people, learn to shoot that gun because it's the one you'll end up shooting. So you go to the range, you do all these cool combat drills with your huge Glock 17 Extendo Mag red dot flashlight. Cool.
Sound like
you
Alisha.
only shoot that gun at the range.
Right.
Guess what? You carry the other one 365 days a week or days a year, right? So why aren't you training with that gun? And people are like, oh,
they always got.
And I'm like,
excuses.
okay. And they're like, well, it's hard to shoot. I go, no. You just don't shoot it enough.
Yeah, you haven't been trained on it.
And
Put in the time.
So I tell people, look, this is the reality of the situation. I would rather be comfortable 365 days a year carrying a small compact gun than when I have to shoot it, because when you pull that gun to shoot it, you're going to be so white-knuckled, you won't notice any recoil at all.
No.
Your adrenaline's going to be dumping into your veins, and you're just going to go wham, 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 and that's it. So it's really interesting that a lot of these carry guns are just, you're seeing the public just start to carry bigger and bigger and bigger, which is fascinating.
Are you actually having people come into the shop, or I guess I should ask Poway Weapons and Gear back here, or Discount Gunmark? Are you starting to see more and more people coming in and buying larger guns for concealed carry?
Well, when they purchase, we don't know what their goal is, so that's kind of a hard. That's hard. Not necessarily. I mean, it depends on how long is that line? How quick do we need to move? Do we have time to have that conversation? It really depends. In an ideal world, you're gonna have a discussion. You're gonna have a conversation. What's your purpose? What kind of firearm are you looking for? What are your needs? What let's find a gun that fits you.
I would think that'd be the first question.
It should be, but it's not always. Sometimes people come and hey, I want the Glock 17. All right, here you go.
I want it in purple.
Right, okay. And then those discussions don't happen. Well, so and so it kind of, there's a whole dynamic of.
So then you become rude if you start asking too many questions.
And part of it, people, because I have people in my EDC class, when we're getting in on the vehicles and stuff, I go, that's a really big gun to be getting in out of the vehicle with, and they go, well, it's the gun I'm best with, and I go, why is that? And they go, well, because I shoot it more. I'm like, look at your logic, look at your logic. Shoot your carry gun more. Like, be a part of that, And I get it. You qualified with that carry gun. Cool. You shot, 200 rounds? Yeah. Yay. You should be shooting thousands out of that gun. And that's my EDC class is designed to push your small compact gun into comfortability, into shooting that gun and getting it out, you know? So people are like, oh, my red dot helped. I'm like, you saw the red dot? Wow.
You're really
Awesome.
good.
You're looking at the wrong thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, good on you, man.
Well, and I think that's where the proper training comes in. And that's when you're trying to correct bad habits.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's the tough part.
Yeah.
But when
Because-
you bring in a class of people that have never shot before, it's probably why you grin from ear to ear, because there's no bad habits.
Right. And someone who's carrying a small compact gun, they'll get used to it. You shoot it more. You'll
Well,
understand
yeah.
it. You'll get used to it.
Yeah, it's no different.
Yeah. But just because you're good with your big one doesn't mean, I mean, in my opinion, doesn't mean you should be carrying that gun all the time.
Right.
You know, I got
Well,
a lot
in all honesty, I mean, unless you're a gun nut, you only need one gun.
Yeah.
And it should be the one to do the job you want it to do. And if you're going to carry, then get a gun that fits your clothing, your size.
And to be fair with that point, if you have a Glock 17 and you don't want to get a compact carry gun, cool, go for it.
Well, yeah,
I get
that's
it.
what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
just don't go out and buy 15 guns.
Right. Or do, and that's cool too.
Yeah, well, see, that's because I said you're a nut, but that's okay. And it's a happy thing. I mean, I get a brand new vehicle to drive every single week from the car manufacturers.
Yeah.
I have 17 vehicles on property.
Yeah.
So I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah.
See, I don't need all those cars at home, but you just have to have them.
People
right?
ask me like, well, what's that AR for? Oh, that's a nighttime one. What? Seriously? I go, that gun's never seen the light of day. That's only for night ops.
That is so funny. I'm gonna use that. Say, why do you have so many cars? Well, that's Tuesday. And
Yeah.
that's
That's a nighttime car. That's a morning car.
Exactly. I like the way you roll.
But it's the same thing. I just the trend is fascinating because the companies are pushing smaller and smaller, and from what I'm seeing and what you're seeing is the public is pushing bigger and bigger and bigger. So we're almost at odds with each other, which is interesting.
And I think what are your feelings on the roster now? Is opening up.
I think it's fantastic. I never thought I'd see the day, to be honest with you. Especially, I mean, I
didn't either.
I ran Gunfighter for 10 years, and I thought the roster was in stone. You know,
so
I think it's fantastic, especially because people would come in and be like, "Oh, I would say the Shield is a great gun. It's the best gun to carry in California."
Well, because you had no choice,
Right.
That
And
was
so-
that was the best carry option that we had
Yeah,
for
and
a
I
long
would-
time.
How are you in Highway Weapons and Gear? Who's not talking inventory
In what way? What do you
with
mean?
the new guns that you can put on the roster?
They as far as
Are
a
they
discount,
trickling in, or
we get them in batches, and then we get wait lists, and they get sold, and then we don't have them for a while until we get another batch in. So they're moving, and the wait lists are fulfilled at least on our end pretty quickly. I'm not sure, the other place, but I imagine it might be the same.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're out there. Sometimes you
You'll
might have to wait.
Take your chair and swing it around here. No, swing around here next to your wife.
Yeah.
So yeah, the
And
only
then that way
thing
you
that
can share the mic.
So as far as the roster goes, my only disappointment is that I just that darn disconnect.
Yeah.
I just have a real
Yeah.
I just despise that.
The magazine disconnect.
Yeah, the magazine disconnect.
So the gun won't fire if the magazine is dropped.
Oh, is that part of the?
The California
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
It's part of the
So a
California
lot of companies
So they
had-
still found a way to put a little.
Yeah. And the
They did.
chamber indicator. Yeah.
What's a chamber indicator?
So if there's a round in the gun, there's something sticking out or poking out that tells you there's a round in the gun.
It's like a teeter-totter on the top of your slide.
Depending on, like, Glock technically has a chamber indicator where the extractor sticks out a little extra when the round is in. You can't really feel it, but there's some guns that have a very exaggerated version of it where it's just a huge spike in the top of the gun, and the round actually pushes that up so that you can feel the gun and know there's a round in there. And for new shooters, I used to recommend that and be like, hey, if you don't know the condition of your gun and you can feel it,
Oh, yeah,
cool,
yeah.
good for you.
Yeah.
But as you get further and further advanced in levels, you don't need that anymore. Right. But
And it can interfere with the placement of an optic. There's
yeah,
downsides
100%.
to it.
Yeah. I'm also not a fan of those two things.
All right. Yeah, made him slide all the way over here. Now we're going to not even let him talk.
Yes, we are.
But we will. He could be your security blanket. You're still looking up on the wall. You're so cute. Hey, folks, if you are a gun owner and you need legal protection, this is probably one of the most important commercials we do.
100%.
Even if you do everything right, even if you're 100% justified, you should be prepared for the legal battle with your self-defense battle. That's why you need firearms legal protection. When you join, you get uncapped legal protection for self-defense for civil or criminal cases with a 24/7 hotline. Joining it's easy. Just go to firearmslegal.com and click on Become a Member. Use code GOR for a discount. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing that you are protected if you're ever involved in a self-defense incident. Firearmslegal.com and use discount code GOR. You ever noticed all the negative people never praise the fact on companies like Firearms Legal Protection?
Yeah.
You would think if you hated guns and all that, then you should be thrilled that there's a company that would protect you in the event.
No kidding. And, a lot of people will think, oh, firearms legal protection, that's for guys that carry guns. I don't know about that. You ever have a home intruder?
Yeah. And not only that, it doesn't have to be a gun.
No, it's self-protection.
You could hit somebody with a baseball bat, and unfortunately they pass on.
Oh.
This would protect you.
100%. Yeah.
And it's not that expensive. It makes me crazy.
Yeah.
All right, we're going off script. Hey, subscribe and win. Subscribe to our email list, and you can win some swag. This week's winner is Ricardo Saya. He just needs to... So, Ricardo, email prizes at gunownersradio.com to claim your T-shirt and or a hat.
I think that's Sia, by the way.
Oh, so who cares?
Ricardo Sia. I don't
Hey.
think it's Sia.
Ricardo probably cares.
Yeah, Ricardo or Saya is going, oh, man.
Hey, you in the box. Be quiet.
Okay.
Totally. Now I'm off.
Whatever happened to names like Richard White or...
Don't even start.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. David Stahl.
My last name has been screwed up my entire life.
You noticed I haven't been saying it
Yeah. Trust me, I know.
because I like you.
Yeah.
Back in my high school days, on the roster, they had my name capitalized because they wanted to show that I'm a brand new student in high school, but they cut it off so it would say Brenda Thomas instead of Brendan. So that was even worse.
That's even worse. So here are some of the great things that are going to happen at the San Diego Gun Show. Are you
In
speaking?
Escondido.
Are you speaking?
No, not this year. Nope.
She looks around.
Well, there's so many wonderful people in here. I thought you were talking to someone else.
Well, yeah, but you spoke last time.
Two
Didn't
times ago, I did. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we're going to have Larry from Mags and Clips, Robert Collectibles. Ooh, I'll have to go check that out. And then Carlos from Arizona Gun Radio. Ooh, that'd be interesting to see. You can buy your tickets at gunownersradio.com/gunshow. And it's going to be totally different than last year's because I don't think last year you paid for the symposiums. Now it's included in the price of the show.
So no, the symposium was always free. What it is
Oh.
they were speakers where there would be an additional fee that was separate and apart from the symposium.
Oh, I got you.
And this go around, they decided to kind of make it a universal cost versus a variety of costs.
Well,
to
that's
kind
what
of simplify
I
it
think.
now.
Yeah, one
But-
price.
I actually like that better because, to be honest with you, just going to a gun show, I would be like, well, there's nothing I really need right now. I'm not going to
Yeah,
go.
why go?
I'm not going to just
Right.
go shop to shop. But, there's speakers. There's interesting things to check out. Cool. Okay, now I'll check it out because it's
Right.
more of an event
Right.
than it is just a gun show.
Right.
Yeah, and you could just like you said earlier in the day, you learn something every time you go.
Yeah.
And now that Escondido has been kind enough to host it or allow us to come up there,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Where are they holding it?
I believe it's going to be at the Center for the Arts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice big
So we
location.
expect it to be pretty big, a really good turnout.
Right.
Yeah,
You coming?
I am. But Mayor White's the one who's been doing everything to put this together. So it's
Was it?
Be
We have a
excited.
call-in guest? Oh, they were call-ins. I didn't even
Yeah,
see it.
unfortunately, we weren't able to get them. So.
Oh,
Well,
never mind.
See, I
never
do
mind.
that.
Gun show.
Hey, put your red pin.
we got to
Hey.
improvise. We're improvising today.
I'm with you. I was tracking it too. I was like, on script. I don't know.
Yeah, but see, I normally, in my defense, Brendan would say, by the way, we have Larry, we have Robert, and we have Carlos on the line.
Fair enough.
All right.
See, I'm guest
See,
hosting.
I was
Tap
trying to be the day
dance.
whisperer. I tried to keep you on target.
Tap dance my way out of
and I'm
the
just
line.
happy to be here. I don't know. I don't know the order.
Well,
I
that-
did my
don't
homework.
even
I was like,
worry.
I got to do this right. I can't let Michael down. I can't let
You're
Michael
not letting
down.
Michael down. You're
Gonna
doing a
dock your pay.
fantastic
Gotta
job.
do this right.
But no, I think, again, and I think this, gun show, even if you're not into guns, go learn about them.
Yeah.
Go talk to the like-minded people. Listen to the symposiums.
Or, in fact, if you're the opposite and you hate guns,
well,
go check it out.
I was trying to be a little more polite than that.
Well, I mean, but for
It's
real,
real.
if you
It's
hate
real.
it, go check it out.
Yeah.
Go see what these people are about.
Right.
Go see them. Go talk to them. Go understand them.
Exactly. Ask questions instead of just believing what you hear with,
Social media.
exactly the
Yeah.
far left trying to scare everybody. Go ask
Yeah.
questions from the experts.
Yeah.
I've had a number of people, and Lee, I imagine you probably have had this too. I've had people that came and booked a lesson because they wanted to kind of see how horrible guns are. Like they came with an expectation of they're going to hate it, and then I've never had anybody leave that didn't actually, to some degree, turn and flip and actually, maybe they didn't love it, but they realized it's not as bad as they thought coming in. Right. And maybe this is something I kind of enjoy. It's not as bad as I thought,
100%.
Yeah.
Well, and-
like you're saying, come
when
and check
you-
it out.
Yeah.
But to your credit, because I have sent a lot of my girlfriends who were deathly afraid of even touching a gun to go and train with my husband. And it really is the trainers that can give them the confidence and show them that it's not scary and that they can do it. And they
Absolutely.
shoot very well. And now they all own guns.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever had one that came in, said they were afraid or were scared, and they walked out afraid and scared? Or you got a pretty good crack record?
Did you flip them?
So I've had varying degrees. I've never had anybody leave worse than they were, but I have had some that just couldn't. And because I start everybody in a classroom. I don't care who you are. I start in a classroom and we spend a few minutes at least so I can kind of feel comfortable with you before we go out. And if I get the vibe that they're just not ready, I'm not going to push them. Like I had a woman.
Oh, no.
I had a woman just last week in that hour. You know what? We just basically the firearm just kind of sat there, and I thought I kind of saw how much she was struggling and how difficult this was for her, and so I thought let's take a look at this. I took the firearm apart. I'm like, let's look at some of the parts and let's look and see. And I kind of showed her how things worked, and then it became less of a mystery. It wasn't just this mystery block that's going to do something that propels something out that terrifies her.
That could hurt her.
Right. And so in her case, she had some trauma, and she was there because she felt like she had to defend herself. She didn't want to be doing it. She hated that she felt that she needed to do this. And she had a whole dynamic that was more than just the gun. She was feeling pressure from family to defend herself. She was feeling pressure from her own stuff that she had going on, and she had a really hard time. She left after that hour. We did, I took her in and I let her just hear and see someone else fire. And I think that, and in the end, she appreciated that. She thought, I was building it up to be so much more in my head. She didn't actually fire. She was,
She may come back.
right. Oh, she's already booked another lesson. She's coming back.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she really was just kind of got to where she realized, it's not as bad and as scary as I built it up in my head to be.
Yeah.
and-
It's funny. You say take the mystery out of it and stuff,
Yeah.
and that's my philosophy with guns and kids as
Yep.
well. My kids are 8 and 4. They've already shot guns plenty of times
Right.
because I took the mystery out of it. I said, "You want to go shoot? Let's go shoot." Cool.
Yep.
Really?
But now they're not trying to find the gun in, behind the couch and looking for the gun. I'd be like, "You want to go see the guns? Cool, let's go see the guns. Which one do you want me to get out? Which one do you want to hold? Which one do you want to check out?" And it almost creates a who cares attitude. Like,
Well,
I
and
don't
with
care.
kids, that's just 90% of it's curiosity.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
And if you can wipe out that curiosity,
yeah,
it's like, oh, okay. And
Yeah.
then when you tell them you have to clean it,
yeah, well, yeah.
then they're done with
That's
it.
90% of people in
I
general.
am done with it. I am not shooting anymore. Not Me is for women, by women, and is designed to help women with training, purchasing a gun, and getting a concealed carry permit. And guess what? It's free. If you are a woman or you know a woman who needs help, have her sign up, and we will give her the help she needs. Just go to notmesd.org. Finally, we're getting to Judy Fitzgerald. She's campaigning for Escondido City Council. I thought you were already on the council.
No, I'm not. I was on the planning commission.
Oh, you're on the
Yes.
planning commission. So now you're running for Escondido City Council. You got a lot of competition.
I've got competition, but I'm
But
doing
you got
pretty
this.
well.
You got this.
I actually thrive better when I do have competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did I not think that?
Forces you to be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the questions come up. Yeah, I'd make Lee do it. How about an introduction on yourself, just so people know who you are?
Yeah, just briefly. again, Judy Fitzgerald. I've lived in Escondido for 37 years. My husband, Tom, who's here with me, he and I raised our 3 girls there. I have a law enforcement background, which showed me a lot. Also a business owner on the Chamber of Commerce board to help other businesses. I've just really have a heart for the community. I'm the chair for the Human Trafficking Committee for the Rotary District that I'm in. And also I just have a heart for, the down and out and the foster kids, severely abused foster kids. So I help support organizations with that. And the school district, kids that are challenged because of hardships and bad situations in their family. But yeah, so just kind of being involved in all those things gave me a very unique perspective on what's going on with our city. And, if you're going to complain about something, you better do something about it, right?
Yeah, you've been talking to
Wow,
Michael.
what a philosophy.
And we have a good mayor that's not afraid of just going for it. So I just want to be on that team.
So what made you want to run? Because I'm sure you had a few other things on your plate.
Actually,
It sounds like a lot of things, actually.
I just get things done.
And you knew something had to get done.
Yeah, and I like the council that's there right now, and I like the direction it's going. And there's some financial challenges that we have right now, but again, there's a plan, and my goals, as far as what I see, are very well aligned with what we can do financially, fiscally.
You want to balance your budget?
Oh yeah, we're
What a
going
concept.
to
Wait,
yeah.
in California.
You're in
But
California?
Yeah.
But you need the right people that are strongly,
Well, it's not your money. Just have fun with it. Right? I mean, that's California's logic.
you just
you're
see
not
some
wrong.
people in there that could be, very responsible, fiscally responsible and conservative to make sure that we just don't blow through money once we are
Get it.
fiscally sound again.
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So it's not because I want to make any friends that I'm running, but, it's just we have to do the right thing because
Right.
that's where we live. And
it has nothing to do about you. It's the kids that are growing up.
it is.
'Cause they're going to inherit whatever you do.
Exactly. Whatever we do now
That's
affects
right.
them 10, 15 years down the road. Absolutely.
All right. So, did you write these questions?
No.
Okay.
But I did study them.
So I'm going to go to the next one. What's your biggest lesson learned being a police officer? And how long were you a police officer?
I was only a police officer for 12 years.
Only.
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 Well, compared to my husband, he was there for over 30.
That
Essentially,
just means you're smarter than he is.
Fair enough.
no, we had
Hear,
the
hear.
girls and we had 3 daughters, and so I took that route.
Were you in Escondido PD?
No, actually, I was in Oceanside. I don't know if you remember the late 80s, early 90s in Oceanside.
Yeah.
Barely.
Hill Street, all that. Yeah. Okay, so that was fun. Those were the fun days. So I worked Oceanside, then we married, and we decided we were going to have a family. So then I kind of realized that I probably should try to work somewhere where I knew I would definitely live a long life.
Yeah.
So I went over to Carlsbad because, the 2 weeks the 2 weeks notice in Oceanside that I gave, it's really funny. I was in more fights, foot pursuits, car chases, taking guns off of people than in 2 years in Carlsbad.
No kidding.
So from there I went into opening a business. My husband and I opened the first CrossFit gym in North County.
Ah.
And then just, getting involved with the Chamber of Commerce, helping businesses, and which kind of just exposed me to what's going on with the city infrastructure.
Yeah.
The
But
planning
I think you said it
department.
when I was off script earlier
Mm-hmm.
that they didn't realize your interrogation skills when you get into an arena like the council or the planning commissions.
Well, we have my role in this is I am looking out for the benefit of the people of the city.
Right.
And when you have staff, and this was my very first meeting coming, and you realize quickly that they have their own agenda, you have to speak up and you have to continue something, but also expose that what they're feeding the people that are going to be making the big decisions who may not know all the facts. It's not entirely accurate. I don't want to call it a lie. Maybe he didn't have all the information.
Right.
but it was very misleading and it was wrong.
Right.
And so he used stats that were made up, threw names down, and later said, "Oh well, I read it somewhere." Well, that's a big departure from saying that the police department told me. Right.
Right.
Yeah. So it was essentially not continuing the gun shop permits.
Right.
Because according to his stats, wherever there were gun shops, there were higher crime rates.
Right.
Yeah.
And probably if everybody upstairs would have listened to his scenario.
You know what's funny about that? It's probably there's gun shops there because there was high crime rates.
Well,
They probably had high crime rates and be like, "Hey, this is a great place to open a gun shop. People need protection."
Well, his statistics were, there's higher crime rate, and and I said, well, my statistics, the statistics I know as law enforcement is where there are gun shops, there are law-abiding citizens that are armed, and the crime rate is lower. Criminals are not going to take the law-abiding route.
No.
Okay,
Right.
it's stolen. Yeah. So anyway, that was knocked down. So I was very grateful
Happy
for
about
that.
that.
Yeah, but it just showed me that you really have to be a watchdog for what it is. That.
But weren't you a little bit surprised somebody in the planning commission would actually go that way?
They were not on the planning commission. It was staff.
Oh, but I mean, still, even
Staff.
staff, that makes it even worse.
Well, yeah, but my concern was that you have to have a level of trust when people are giving you that information to the planning commission, and so some people on the planning commission were actually believing what that person
That's
was
what I'm
saying
saying.
because they were misinformed, and so
They didn't do their own due diligence.
Especially like you said, I
Right.
read it somewhere. I think that's the ultimate.
Yeah.
I just made this up, and I want to not
Well,
sound like an idiot.
he
I
said-
read it somewhere.
yeah, the police department that I read, and then when we came back, it was me saying, well, the chief of police actually said that he too is pro Second Amendment and that he is pro keeping the gun shop here.
Yeah.
Well, at least he didn't say I read it on the internet.
Oh,
He
I don't
could
know.
have. Yeah, but he could have.
Yeah, it was just, it was yeah.
right,
So
let me get
it,
back to my questions.
Yeah.
So, okay, were you into guns before you became a police officer?
No, I really wasn't.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. So that was the first time. And it was really interesting because there were a lot of people that had shot, firearms before going in, but because they had never been trained in it, they were really bad shots. And I came in just green, and I was actually a pretty good shot because of it. Because
Yep.
yeah.
There again.
Yep.
Because you didn't know any
no
different.
bad habits.
Yeah,
You still shoot?
not a lot. No, but
Bullets
my
are too
daughters.
expensive.
Well, I've got this guy. My all three daughters shoot, so yeah, I'm covered. But I can't shoot. We do have firearms, and
you
I know
do.
how to protect.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sure you do. I'm sure you do. So what is it that you're going to bring to the table as far as city council goes that maybe is missing? Or is there anything missing from the council that you could add to?
Well, I think with city council, I like the direction our mayor is going. He's actually just really courageous and just advancing at a really good pace. And so essentially having it be safety first. A lot of people are focusing on the homeless issue, which is important, but we need to look at protecting the citizens who are being either assaulted by people that are mentally ill or on drugs. And then also there are thefts because of those that need to support their drug habit. And then the businesses, again, there are thefts there. And, it's businesses are closing because people don't go.
Right.
And we just want to make it a safer city. So that, and then also providing for the homeless, we need to take care of our own. The city council was going to try to open a regional homeless center in our area, and we're struggling with homelessness. And so we had schools, residents, businesses. And so I went with the mayor and spoke before the county board of supervisors, and just to say, we have to continue this because we were blindsided. We didn't know that was part of the plan. And we have a plan. The mayor has a plan that it has worked in other cities. And essentially it is to take care of those with ties to Escondido and provide housing in an area where they have to be in either drug treatment programs or receive mental illness treatment. And then also if they succeed in that, then we would be able to give them vocational rehabilitation services to make them productive members of our society again.
There you go with that common sense thing.
And those that don't have ties, there are community facilities that we could take them to. But our hands are tied right now until a couple of, we're waiting for a few laws to change.
Right. And that's the problem. I mean, you know, like no cash bail. You know, you can steal up to $995 worth of product. I mean, who in their right mind would even do that or think that?
Well, you know, and I'm glad you brought that up because safety is so important, and the policeman's hands are tied with, like you were saying, that 900. So Congressman Alisha is currently working on legislation to where we're going to lower that threshold and get it back to where it's not just like a catch and release. It's like we need to get these people in jail and do time, have it be felonies again.
Yep, without a shadow of a doubt. Well, hey, you got our vote. I'll have to move, but you got my vote. So, do you have a website?
According to the federal government, you can just vote wherever you want.
Well,
That's
there
right.
is that too.
Yes, I do. So if you go to electjudyfitzgerald.com, you can learn all about me. And it's really important if you want to support in any way, because we do have the other side that is defund the police and give more to the homeless. And it's just not good for any city.
So you take donations?
We do.
Okay, so you're allowed to do that?
Yes, absolutely.
And she's coming back next segment too.
Oh my gosh, I didn't see that.
I also take donations. Just
Right.
You take donations too? I don't.
Me too.
Hey, do you belong to an association, maybe a club or an organization that's wrestling with their marketing? Well, most organizations waste a lot of money on marketing because it's so tough. Managing everything, website, social media, e-commerce, email, and the list goes on. Leave frustration behind. Sage Tree Fractional Marketing Department Services. That's right. They'll take care of everything. The planning, the development, the advertising, and a whole lot more. Getting started is real easy. Visit sagetree.com and click on the Schedule an Appointment button at sagetree.com and click on the Schedule a button right now. All right, we're sitting here chatting with Judy Fitzgerald. She's running for Escondido City Council, and we've been throwing questions at her like crazy. But what are some of the things that's on your mind that you would like to tell the constituents?
Well, actually, it has to do with just what the San Diego Gun Owners does, really, with everything that you're facing. And one thing that I think is really important, and I'm a big proponent of women learning how to protect themselves. As a police officer, I ended up covering domestic violence and crimes of violence. And there were, in domestic violence, a lot of incidents. One in particular stands out where the woman got away after telling her, you have to leave, you have to leave. She finally left, and she thought she was safe, had a restraining order. He found her and killed her in front of the kids. And so it's one of those things to where another story, I think it was out of New Jersey just recently, where the gal actually did get the restraining order. She had applied for a permit to carry a gun, and they just dragged their feet. I mean, they took longer than they should have. And she had called in just to check up on the status because she was fearing for her life. So her boyfriend was a felon, which they say, well, he doesn't have a gun. Well, you don't need a gun.
Yeah.
Anyway, they dragged their feet. They went over the timeline, and she took the steps to do it right. And he ended up killing her in her own driveway with a knife. So it's one of those things that that case that I saw, it's like, if she had a firearm, could she have protected herself? And it's just about.
But where's the outrage? There's no outrage.
And so people are saying, oh, this waiting period, background checks. Let's look at the women. Are they domestic violence victims? Are they rape victims? Have they been stalked?
Don't throw them into the pot.
let's make them a priority. And so I think that's just something that I'm very passionate about. Again, getting the women trained, educated, and
well, that falls directly in line with San Diego County Gunners Not Me SD program.
Right.
exactly.
That's exactly what they do.
Right.
And I'm hoping
Give them their own voice.
Yes, and just bringing them up to North County, having classes there, and again, I think that's one of the things that I really am passionate about as well. So I'm really glad that they offer that.
Well, and I think personally, and I don't know what the legality is, but I think every police department should have Not Me SD as a reference. So, like, say they find a woman that's in that situation, say, you might want to go and see these people and get yourself protected because we can circumvent her, getting a concealed carry by going through a program like that.
Right.
Am I right? Am
And
I wrong?
what's interesting too is both those cases where you talked about the woman getting killed were at their homes.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have
You
needed a
don't need
permit
a
to carry there.
CCW for your house.
The first one, he busted in the house. She was
Yeah.
in her house. The other one was the driveway of
So,
her house.
as
She needs a weapon. of
Right,
something.
Not Me SD could point her in the right directions, being like, "Hey, just get the
Yeah.
gun and get some training and
Right.
go from there."
And I think too, it's one of those things to where it's not a one size fits all. It's not going to be every victim that's going to go that route. But
Right.
let's offer that as an option.
At least to offer something.
Give it
Yeah.
it's a resource.
because the restraining order is
Piece of paper.
That
false
piece of
sense of
paper.
It's an
security.
imaginary line.
Yeah. So you just again making them not fear the weapon.
Yeah.
Because as you said, you're helping them understand.
Right.
And equipping them and getting them the training to where they're confident, and then the high stress training. So
Yeah.
when they're in it, it's second nature for them to respond. So I think that's critical. So I'm very
So you're going to start. I think that's great. And once you've realized it and seen what you should do is go with either Desi or Alisha to one of the classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put on a class for the Not Me SD ladies, and they're really fun to be around. First of all,
Yeah.
super fun class for me as an instructor. But they're great shooters. They're very competent. They know what they're talking about, and it's great. Get them involved.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned a gal, and you didn't give all the details, but I'm thinking she must have gone through something traumatic.
She did. She was absolutely terrified.
And
And that's
so-
not uncommon.
Yeah, and yet we have to be able to come alongside them to build them up
Right.
because they're broken, but they need to be able to protect
But was she
themselves.
terrified of the gun, or was she terrified that she was terrified?
I didn't ask a lot of questions. I just kind of let her be. But I really got the feeling that the fact that she was here or there, and she was brought to that point because of her trauma, really tied in the trauma, and that I think a lot of it was the trauma of what it was. She shared a little bit with me, and I listened, but I wasn't going to pry any more than she wanted to share, so I didn't ask.
Right.
But I think she had just so much kind of rolling around in her mind that, just kind of, it was still fresh. And the fact that that's what prompted and kind of made her feel like she had to come and to be here. And that was why she was here. It wasn't that she wanted to learn it on her own. It was because she felt like she had to. And there was that kind of driving force. So I just took it at her pace, and we took it, and as slow as she needed it to be.
And not only would Not Me SD give her the training avenue, but it'd give her the camaraderie of other women
Right.
going in the same things, like what you're
That's
saying.
right.
Bring Not Me SD to the council and say, hey, look, we have this resource of a bunch of ladies getting together talking
Yes.
about this.
And then
You're not on your own.
sometimes finding out that you're not the only one
Yeah.
that's gone
Right.
through
That's
that.
huge.
Yeah.
That's very helpful.
Yeah, and she said, she sought me out because I was a female. She was uncomfortable working with a man,
Yeah.
which is unfortunately a big part of the dynamic.
Yeah. So I mean, I like that, and again, I'm big on situational awareness. Don't look like a victim, but sometimes you just really need to be prepared for the unknown and unknowable.
Yeah.
And not
I
let it
think
take you
that's
by
just sort of
surprise.
start in the schools, like high school.
That situational
They should
awareness.
start as little
and,
girls.
Have
Yeah.
you seen some of the clothes these kids are wearing?
Yeah.
I mean, you're just asking for trouble. You know what I mean?
My daughter's 4, and I'm terrified already.
You should be terrified. But I mean,
Well, you can't say that though either.
well, I know you can't. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Why
but
can't I? Oh, it's my show. No, yeah, it's. But I the other thing I've always said, when you find a city council that is against guns, then they all should go to the range, just one time. Go to the range. Let's see what you hate about it.
But the thing is, it's you have the option to not own a firearm.
True. But don't make
But
rules.
we have an option to own it because of the Second Amendment.
Right.
And don't try to weasel into things to make it harder,
Yeah.
just because you've got your cause.
Yeah, but I just makes me crazy when somebody says, "Nope, not in my town, no guns." Well, have you ever shot a gun? Nope, just don't want any guns in my
It's
town.
amazing to me the level of hatred people have
Yes.
towards guns that has nothing to do with them.
And they've never shot,
Yeah.
probably.
You're not into guns. You don't like guns. You just have an adamant hatred of them, which is awesome that you are a supporter of the Second Amendment, and you're going to be part of the lawmaking citizens or the lawmaking decisions.
Right.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And it's so funny because I have a very, very good friend who's very anti-gun, and it's the same stories that you hear. But every time something happens at her house and she's not home, she calls us because we have the guns.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm
you
like,
can have it, say, okay, that'll be $1,000.
I'm like, just
And we have to go
get
through a licensed
trained.
SFL, and 10 days later.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's right.
girl, I can't get there by the time that person, get trained and just
And all
be
she
safe
need-
in
yeah,
your
but
own
see, all-
home.
Well, you need to send her to Not Me SD
Yep.
with a couple of her girlfriends, maybe you included,
Mm-hmm.
and just go and take her. Say, hey, let's go have some fun.
Yeah.
Because they're fun, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
See, bubbly over
Absolutely.
here.
Yeah, no, so it's great. I think, let's bring it up to
Yeah.
Escondido and
Yeah.
North County.
Oh, they go everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go everywhere. What do we got? Over 2,000 girls that have gone through the program?
Oh, I can't keep up with the numbers. That's a Desi question.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's got to be around there. Yeah.
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 I just
And-
went to their meeting a couple weeks ago that they did at the butcher shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see how many people were there. So
I
and
know.
guess what? It wasn't all women. Not me SD. You don't have to be a woman. You can still support that
Yeah,
whole
you can still
movement
support it.
for no matter what.
And 70% of the women come back as ambassadors
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they get so much out of it that they want to come back and help people.
Yeah.
Well, it's empowering.
Yeah.
They're not afraid anymore. They're confident, and they want to have others, who felt the way they did come and see that they're able to protect themselves as well.
You know, it's a great thing to see.
Yeah.
It really is when you see people get excited about something that they would never have been excited about it until they took the course.
Yeah. So you'll be at the symposium
I'll be
promoting this.
I'll be at the
too?
gun show. And I'll be there.
Gun
I'll be
show?
there. Just kind of
Desi
be there
will
to
be
share
there.
with people. Yeah,
Okay,
but Desi will
Desi.
be there.
Yes, you'll be there for sure.
She'll represent. I'll have my name tag. I'll be there too.
I'm a name tag.
Yeah.
But I'm unofficially there.
Desi's your point of contact.
Yeah.
But she's fantastic. She
Yeah.
lines up that committee, and they do a great job.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And like I said, and they do all kinds of groups. Anytime they can get a group of women together, whether they're a social group or just friends or relatives.
We're gonna be doing she tries to get an event a month. It doesn't always work, but we're working on it. We're gonna be doing in mid-June. We're gonna be doing a situational awareness, and we've done the pepper spray class before, but we're kind of taking that a little bit further. We're gonna kind of roll scenarios into it and decision making, kind of more of an advanced level. We'll have the inerts, and they'll be able to kind of practice and do real stuff. It's a lot of role playing, and then in June, I'll be taking the girls out. We're gonna be doing more of an intermediate, almost like we're going to take those shooting social experiences with the ladies that have their own firearm, and we're inviting them, and we're going to be doing more of an advanced, more of an intermediate to advanced class with the women who have their own firearm already. So that advanced training as well.
They do pepper spray. They're not. It's not all just guns. Because like we talked, guns are the last resort.
So something that works for them that they're comfortable
Well,
with.
maybe that one friend that's your friends, no matter what, she just is not. She'll call you to get a gun
At 3 in the morning.
at 3 in the morning. She could have pepper spray.
Yeah.
And that's part of the Not Me SD.
The answer to everything is not a firearm.
Nope.
Not always.
Hey, have you been keeping your guns clean and lubricated the way you should?
You know it.
And if you have been procrastinating because cleaning your guns with traditional products is smelly and a pain in the butt, then you should use Seal One. Seal One is an all-in-one product that cleans, lubricates, and protects your firearms. Clean your guns fast, easier, safer with Seal One. No more smelling like gas. Enjoy the confidence and peace of mind knowing your guns are protected with the best. Buy some now at seal1.com. All right, well, this is our favorite segment, Stump My Nephew. This is Mr. Schwartz's nephew. And we have been trying to stump him continually every Sunday with obscure questions about guns and the gun history. And we're going to have Lee ask Sam the question. Sam, are you there?
Yeah, how's everyone in the studio?
We're wonderful.
Good.
We miss you, but we know you're having a great time back there, right?
Well, the weather isn't quite so nice.
That's what I thought. Yeah, no, not good at all. So Michael's going to be gone for 3 weeks. I don't know. Is he going to bounce back and see you guys?
Yes, briefly.
All right, very good. Taking your grandfather with him?
Yes.
He'll come back so much more intelligent. All right, Lee, let her rip, Tater Chip.
All right, nephew, you ready for this one?
Let's have it.
Rick from Imperial Beach asks, what submachine gun was described as a drain pipe and a bed spring?
Rick from Imperial Beach, thanks very much for writing in. What is Imperial Beach a beach?
It is.
Yeah,
Is it? Okay.
and the Tijuana
When I
River
hear-
saturates it on a daily basis.
Don't
Oh,
swim
so
in
it's a
Imperial
river
Beach.
beach.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Because I know the Imperial Valley. Okay, see, I'm learning my California
You're
geography
doing very
slowly.
good.
Okay, what submachine gun was described as a, what was it, a drain pipe and a bed spring?
That's
Yes.
right.
Well, funny you should say that, or funny Rick should ask that, because there are many submachine guns that fit that descriptor. But for the best fit, I would go with the OG, the mother of all scrap metal submachine guns, the Sten.
Told you.
You just blew away our guess.
You knew it.
So, Lee, go ahead and read the answer.
So, the submachine gun described as a drain pipe and a bed spring is the British Sten gun. The Sten gun, particularly the Mark II variant, earned its nickname due to the simplistic and crude design, which featured a minimalistic tubular receiver with a basic spring mechanism. It was widely used by the British and the Commonwealth forces during World War II due to its ease of production and low cost.
So, have you ever seen one, Sam?
I have seen them in museums and in museum collections, but I have not had the chance to handle and fire one, as they are machine guns. So they're a little more difficult to get your hands on. You need an FFL, or if it's a transferable, I think those are pretty uncommon.
So what was interesting is that I talked about earlier is I actually, when my old gun shop, helped a fella build one of these. They had a semi-automatic version of it, and we helped him build it from the ground up as a repro.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
very
it was
cool.
a really fun project to be a part of.
Did you get to shoot it?
No, it was just a work job, but it was cool to hold and cool to be a part of, you know?
And to think
I
there
would
were
imagine
people.
it would be. I would imagine it would be pretty easy to do that. The hardest part seems like it would be, mechanically speaking, the hardest part seems like it would be the closed bolt conversion, because the whole point of the Sten was it was cheap to make. It was designed at a time that the British had very real fears of a land invasion during World War II. And so, or an invasion of the British home island, Great Britain, on land instead of just aerial bombing. And so the idea was make it cheap, make it quick, so that we can produce a lot of these if we need to.
What type of ammo did it fire?
9mm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just it's a big, long stick mag, kind of like a Tommy gun stick
Okay.
mag.
All right.
Similar look. Similar
Well, like
feel.
you said, when you're trying to make it as simplistic as you can,
Bent sheet metal and drain plugs and stuff like
and
that.
if it failed for whatever reason, you threw it away.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a cool gun. Cool. Just to hold it was a cool, I felt like I was in history.
Well, here's something for you, Dave. The team behind the M3 grease gun took a lot of inspiration from the Sten in how it was constructed, and so it has, although it's a little bit different and seems to be better made, better designed, because there was a little bit more time put into it. The construction is very similar: stamped sheet metal, tack welded together.
Right. Yeah. Alisha just showed me a picture of the Sten, and yeah, there are some similarities, and I think the M3 was kind of based on the same idea, cheap, inexpensive, and have you ever fired an M3? It has a tendency to float. You can hold your hand straight out and fire it, and it just would it'll float upward.
Yeah.
Of all things.
Yep.
And there was virtually no recoil to speak of, and it was a duh, and it used 45.
Yep. It's the same kind of feel and rise as a Tommy gun.
Yeah, exactly. When are you going to get me one for my birthday?
Listen, as soon as I win the Mega Millions, I'll let you know. But that might be pretty hard because I don't buy lotto tickets.
Yeah, no kidding.
Can you put me down for one too?
Yeah, me too. Well, they're not.
Sure, while I'm at it.
They're not stupid expensive. It's just, I don't know if you could buy one in California.
Well, the kit that we built was a conversion to semi-auto for the Sten at least.
Yeah.
So you could get it, but it was a kit. It was not. You just went to the store and bought it.
All right, buddy. Fantastic job. You got him. We all knew you would. Everybody but Judy. Judy is running for council in Escondido, and we told her what's going to happen. And yeah, she had a little skepticism, especially once we read her the question. But you got her. So good job.
Well, that was kind of a softball, but fun question. Thanks for having me on, as always.
All right, buddy. You take care.
Thanks,
Say hi to
nephew.
Mike for us when he comes through.
Will do.
All right. Was that amazing or was that amazing?
Wow.
And he's been like that. I mean, he was, 18? He was young when he started with
Yeah,
it.
sounds about right. Yeah.
And I mean, he would just sit there, and we insist he never, ever knows the question. We never send it to him, and it's right off the top of his head.
Wow.
And he writes for Leatherneck Magazine now and some other periodicals. He writes a blog. Oh, I forgot to ask about the blog.
I know.
That's your fault.
I thought about it, but you were already rolling, so I was letting you go. But I just had a thought. You were talking about how impressive his ability is to recall and just know information. One of the most impressive things he answered and did, and I don't know. I know, Dave, you're not going to remember either. I don't recall how it came about, but remember we asked the question about Cinderella and the slipper.
The glass slippers.
Yes, and I don't know why we were talking about this, but he knew the answer as to why. Yeah. Cinderella the glass slipper and like the whole story behind the glass.
Yeah, it was
and
amazing.
Just pulled it out. It was just
we were
a
just
side conversation that we had, and he pulled it out. He knew.
He was the guy that was reading the book when I was looking at the pictures.
Yeah,
you got that right, boy. How much truth is there?
He just hears and reads something once, and that's it.
Well, I neared it, and he worked at a gun store for a while.
Mm-hmm. He's a pilot.
Mm-hmm. He gets his mind set on something. But like I say, he's the greatest kid you ever want to meet. He was here last two Sundays ago, and totally different person in person. Bubbly, smiley, but on air, I mean, just like Lee, real serious, and making sure he gets the questions answered.
Follow the notes. Follow the notes.
I know. Follow the notes. Follow the notes. Well, hey, it's been fun having you in. Congratulations and good luck on your run.
Thank you.
I have a sneaky feeling you're gonna make it.
I appreciate that.
You're gonna make an impact, which is why you're here.
That's the plan, to make an impact and make it better.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody's here for a reason. We may not know what that reason is until one day you find out.
Yeah.
I think you're on the cusp. Told you you're gonna be the governor. Come on, you could be the governor.
Remember all of us when you are.
I'll invite
just
you guys
remember
up.
all of us.
all the little people.
Yeah, we want to come to the dinner.
I want it to be contagious. Share a little bit. Kind of take your enthusiasm and share it with the rest of the county. We need some of that.
Yeah. Well, I think if you guys in Escondido could set an example, a shining example of how it can be done,
Well, it's just, I'm amazed at how people hold back because of how easily everyone's offended. It's not my problem if people are offended if I'm speaking truth and facts.
Right.
And that's just the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, hello.
So let's take a stand and
not
let's
everybody needs
do the
a
right
trophy.
thing.
Not everybody needs a trophy. When you lose, you grow.
Yeah.
It's just no.
But my heart's in the right place.
Right.
We're doing it for the right reasons.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
let's just get it done.
That's right. And just keep remembering, it's not your money. It's our money. So
Exactly.
balance the checkbook and help the homeless. And especially in a time like this weekend, do everything you can to help the military.
Absolutely.
Because there was a time when I was in where we were not respected, in the Vietnam era.
Well, thank you for your service. I did not know that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Look up the Vietnam service.
We have a great deal of respect for veterans.
Yeah.
When we owned our business, the majority, we made it our mission to hire veterans.
It's the smartest thing in the world to do.
It is.
All right,
I
Lee,
appreciate you.
you're coming back next week.
I'll be here.
Make sure all your notes are in place and everything is.
My notes were fine.
Well, my notes weren't mine, so
I was just here going with the flow.
I know. So let's.
Thanks for watching this episode from Gun Owners Radio. If you're watching mainstream media, you're not getting the truth about guns and the Second Amendment. Gun Owners Radio is the easiest way to stay on top of the Second Amendment fight, the fight for your self-defense rights. You can watch our live stream on YouTube every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, or if you're in San Diego, AM 1170, FM 96.1, The Answer. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform. Just do a search for Gun Owners Radio and you'll find our show. Don't forget to support our sponsors. Click on the links in the show notes and support the businesses that support your Second Amendment rights. Like and subscribe to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.